What is going on, everyone? This is Eric coming at you from just outside of Hartford, Connecticut. And today, since Week 14 is officially over of the NFL season, we're going to do our first NFL playoff predictions. This is going to be fun. It's also going to be interesting as this is, of course, the first time in the playoffs that 7 teams from each conference make the playoffs. So, of course, that means the 1 seed gets a bye. So there were a couple tiebreaker situations, but I went by the typical NFL tiebreaker guidelines, for lack of a better word there, and essentially 2 teams with the same record. It came down to division record, or head-to-head record, then division record, conference record, etc., etc. That's the furthest we got to conference record. It separated the 7th seed Miami Dolphins, which is why I'm focusing on the AFC here, and the 8th seed Baltimore Ravens, as the Dolphins are 5-4 in the AFC and the Ravens are 5-5 in the AFC. And 5-4 is a .55, etc. win percentage. Well, 5-5, of course, is a 500 win percentage. So Miami got the edge there. So we're going to start off here with the AFC. Then we will jump over to the NFC. So right now the seeds in the AFC are as followed. Kansas City is the 1 seed. They get a bye in the first round. Then you get the 2 seed Pittsburgh Steelers playing host to the 7th seed Miami Dolphins. The 3 seed Buffalo Bills play host to the 6 seed Indianapolis Colts. And the 4 seed Tennessee Titans play host to the 5 seed Cleveland Browns. So we'll start with the Steelers-Dolphins game here. And this should be a good game. So, yes, Miami just lost a really close game against the Chiefs. Yes, Pittsburgh has been on a bit of a decline in these past 2 weeks. Who do I think is going to win this game? It's going to be a really close game. So, first thought is, 2 seed's going to win. But then I'm thinking, Miami's a good team. Miami knows what it's doing. Do I think Tua has the ability to pull the upset? It's definitely possible. It's really going to come down to the defense in Miami and the defense in Pittsburgh. Because Pittsburgh's pass rush is second to none. Best pass rush in the league right now. So if they can get to Tua early, they're going to win that game. On the flip side, Roethlisberger might not have any open receivers to throw to, and that's their home game plan. Because the Steelers are a very pass-happy offense. They don't run the ball well at all in 2020. And that plays to Miami's strengths because you're going to make them throw the ball. So, again, I have to give the slight edge, the slightest of slight edges, to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I just like Pittsburgh a little bit more right now. And maybe Miami will prove me wrong. And I'm rooting for Miami against Pittsburgh, that's for sure. But we will see. Next, we have the 3-seeded Bills playing the 6-seeded Colts. Indianapolis is again in a tiebreak situation with the Browns for the 5 seed. Buffalo has been playing good of late. Indianapolis has been playing good of late. So it's going to be a very interesting series, or game I should say, between these two teams. Buffalo just beat, it wasn't a complete massacre, but they beat up the Steelers last week, on Sunday I should say. So that was a very good game. Indianapolis has been playing good as well lately. The question is Rivers healthy right now? That's always a big question mark. Buffalo's really changed a little bit. 2 years ago, their defense was their bread and butter. This year, it's the offense. Stephon Diggs has proved to be great, huge signing for them. So I do think that the Buffalo Bills have it in them to take home the victory and advance in the playoffs for the first time in the 21st century. And Indianapolis is just a little bit of a casualty there. Still good team. I think Indy has a chance to make a run next year. I just don't like their matchup against Buffalo this year. Lastly, we have the 4-seed Tennessee Titans playing the 5-seed Cleveland Browns. These are not your father's Cleveland Browns. This Cleveland team is ready. Now, Cleveland has proven time and time again that their offense is there. Their defense, on the flip side, still has some catching up to do. Tennessee is a Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, and Ryan Tannehill show. Their defense, again, has a lot to prove. I think you will see the Cleveland Browns take home the victory in this series, in this game. And before you throw me to the Lions for thinking the Browns are going to win a playoff game, hear me out. I think that the Browns have more weapons on offense. I trust Baker more than Tannehill in this type of situation. And I'm going with a boomer bust. I think Cleveland has a real chance to pull the upset over Tennessee. It's not a huge upset, but I just don't think playing in the AFC South has done any favors for them. So, granted, Cleveland played the NFC East this year, but, Tennessee's probably just going to coast into the playoffs, and Derrick Henry's going to have a good game, but it's not going to be enough. So now we have the Pittsburgh Steelers playing host to the Buffalo Bills. We saw it Sunday, and Buffalo won. So, obviously, the probable expected outcome is Buffalo wins again. I don't know, because we know the Bills beating the Steelers has given the Steelers some bulletin material. And you don't really want that if you're the Bills. Now, of course, Josh Allen is a great dual threat quarterback. He's arguably the best dual threat in the NFL today. Now, that's a shot at Lamar. Yeah, Lamar hasn't been playing that great this year in Kyler, but Allen's just a bigger guy too, so he can take more hits. That's concerning for his long-term health, but for 2020, I like it. I like the Diggs connection with him, and Buffalo's able to play a gritty game against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, the pass rush is still there and will still be a factor, but I think Buffalo is going to make its way to the championship game. It's going to be a good one. This is going to be a must-watch game. Now we have the 1-seed Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Cleveland Browns. Do I really need to go into detail about the Chiefs? Because I will. This team is arguably better than the Kansas City team last year. It's hard to find a flaw with this team. I mean, you could argue, they lost Darrell Williams. That's true. Or Damian Williams. But guess what? They picked up Le'Veon Bell midway through the season, and they drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So this team, they lost their lead runner from last year, but they got 2 elite running backs. And their starting guard opted out, but okay, you lost your starting right guard. It's not like he's the best right guard in the game. He's an average right guard, and he opted out early on, so you knew he was going to opt out because he has a medical degree. So he said, I'm going to, help with COVID, and that's where we are. Sorry, Cleveland, no chance to pull the upset here. Kansas City will win, and then we have Kansas City versus Buffalo in the AFC Championship game. I love Kansas City. Kansas City is such a good team right now. I love Buffalo. But it's pretty apparent here, Kansas City will take this game. It won't be too close. Kansas City is going to just play to win. And Andy Reid's teams know that, they have to win. If they don't, they're in trouble. Kansas City takes home the AFC crown, AFC title, whatever you want to call it. And, punches their ticket to their second consecutive Super Bowl without Tom Brady standing in the way. Now we're off to the NFC. Now, the NFC sees the Green Bay Packers at this point in time as the 1 seed, so they get a first-round bye, while the New Orleans Saints are the 2 seed, taking on the 7 seed Arizona Cardinals. The 3 seed Los Angeles Rams will take on the 6 seed Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the 4 seed Washington football team will be taking on the 5 seed Seattle Seahawks. So we'll start up on top here. The Saints taking on the Cardinals. So much has been made of the Saints quarterback situation right now. Will Taysom Hill still have a role on this team? Or will Drew Brees be healthy? Of course, broken ribs and a punctured lung are never something to just scoff at and say, he'll be back. Rumor has it that Taysom Hill will start week 15, but Drew Brees should be healthy for week 16. So we'll see what happens with that situation. It's something that's definitely worth monitoring, but I'd be shocked to see Drew Brees on the sidelines for a playoff game unless there's an actual reason for it. On the flip side, the Cardinals have been in a bit of a free fall lately. They've just been losing a lot of games. Yeah, they pulled out the win in Week 14, but it wasn't the most impressive one. They still have a lot of holes to fix, and while they still have DeAndre Hopkins, Kyler Murray, they need to fix a lot of problems there. Their offense has been exposed. Their defense has had Hassan Reddick looked really good last week against the Giants, but I don't think they have it in them to beat the Saints. They're not built the way the Packers and the Eagles are. That's just the problem. They're not built to take down a team like the Saints. So I think the New Orleans Saints will take home the victory. So then we have the Los Angeles Rams taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and this is going to be a good one. So these two teams played this year, and the Rams won. Do I think they can do it again? It's tough. So Tampa Bay, obviously led by Tom Brady. Brady, of course, beat Jared Goff in the Super Bowl 53. So does that matter? Not necessarily. That was 2 years ago, and they're on completely different teams now. The Rams have changed a good amount. Obviously, gone is Gurley, and even Zerline should be mentioned there. Well, Brady's just in Tampa. He still has Gronk with him, but that's pretty much it. This will be an interesting game right from the get-go. We have to see how it goes, but I think the Rams have just enough talent to squeak past the Buccaneers. This is a game I could easily see going to the Buccaneers. I don't think they have it yet. I think losing, Vita Vea earlier in the season will hurt them in this game because he would definitely be a good trench helper up front. But time will tell. Maybe the Buccaneers can pull the upset. I won't be shocked if they do, but at this point in time, I'm not expecting it. And lastly, we have the 4-seed Washington football team playing host to the 5-seed Seattle Seahawks. Interestingly enough, they actually are playing Week 15, so this will be a very telltale game for the two teams. Washington's been one of the hottest teams in football right now. They're forcing teams to play their style of game. Washington's style of game is force you to run the ball if they can. And they want to play you a gritty defensive battle. Washington's defense is going to be their moneymaker. Now, here's the problem. Seattle's offense is pretty good at not turning the ball over. And that's going to really hurt a team like the Washington football team. And the other problem is Seattle's offensive line is one of the better ones in the league right now, which is kind of crazy to say. But they are at least above average one. And Washington has struggled when they're playing good offensive lines. Week 15 is going to be a real telltale, but I'm going to have to go with Seattle pulling the victory here. It's not necessarily an upset, but by seeding it is, by record it's not. So we have the 2-seed Saints playing host to the 3-seed Rams. Again, assuming Drew Brees is healthy for this game, I see no chance for the Rams to pull the victory. They had their victory against the Saints in the playoffs in 2018, very controversial victory. But the Saints are just built better. The Saints are built like a team to make a run to a Super Bowl. So the Rams, I think your window is starting to close real quick. You have a lot of older guys on your team. And yeah, it's going to be a very high-scoring game. There's not a lot of defense to speak of for the Rams. That's their big problem, though. They're going to be able to match up offensively with the Saints, but not defensively. Saints run away with this one. And then we have the Green Bay Packers playing host to the Seattle Seahawks. Let's just say Green Bay, 1 seed for a reason right now. Aaron Rodgers has something to prove, no doubt, something to prove. He is ready to play, and he's definitely talented. He's definitely going to have a good game. Seattle, on the flip side, well, Seattle matches up better with New Orleans. I will say that. But how do they fare against Green Bay? Green Bay has got an elite pass rush just like Washington does. So if Washington can expose something in Seattle's offensive line, Green Bay will capitalize on it. Seattle has a good passing game, but Green Bay has a good secondary. Not the best secondary, but a good one. So Seattle's going to have to establish the ground game early in order to win this game. Green Bay has done a good job at shutting down opposing ground games early on. Now, recently, they've been a little more exposed. How will this game go? I think Green Bay has enough in them to pull the victory out, especially having the home field advantage. You know, playing out in Lambeau in January is no easy task, especially for a team that comes from a domed environment. Green Bay pulls out the victory, which sets them up for an NFC Championship game against the New Orleans Saints. And the Saints get lucky yet again as they don't need to face a true challenge from a mobile quarterback. Yes, Kyler Murray is a mobile quarterback, but I just don't necessarily like the options that the Cardinals have. So Green Bay versus New Orleans, NFC Championship game. I'm not watching this one. I don't like either team, but it will be a good game. Probably going to see a very close battle. It'll be an offensive battle, but I think there's just less holes on Green Bay's roster right now than New Orleans. Now, again, New Orleans has been exposed by mobile quarterbacks, specifically Jalen Hurts. He just really proved them wrong. And they hadn't given up an 100-yard rusher in a few years at this point, a couple years. The Eagles had 2 of them. Yeah, let that sink in. The Eagles had 2 100-yard rushers against this defense. Now, Green Bay has Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is better than Miles Sanders. There's no debate there. Aaron Rodgers is better than Jalen Hurts. Green Bay will take this game, setting up a Super Bowl battle between Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. 2 probable, well, it's way too soon to say it for Mahomes, but a battle of 2 probable Super Bowl or Hall of Famers and a battle of MVPs, Super Bowl MVPs. Now, I've been talking up Green Bay a lot. I've been talking up Kansas City a lot. And it's kind of boring to have a battle be between the 2 1 seeds, but here we are. And Green Bay, of course, getting here by beating Seattle and New Orleans. Kansas City by beating Cleveland and Buffalo. So Green Bay has fought more to get here. I think early on, Green Bay is going to surprise people, take an early lead. But Kansas City is too good to lose this year. Le'Veon Bell gets a ring, which will be good for him. Not only does Le'Veon Bell get a ring, but a lot of other players do that didn't have one before. A couple of them at least. Mahomes gets his second. Mahomes starts to cement himself as maybe a future, the future Tom Brady. Andy Reid proves himself. So Kansas City over Green Bay. Kansas City's pass attack way too much for Green Bay's solid but not spectacular secondary. Hope you guys enjoyed this. These are my playoff predictions as of today, December 15th. Have a great rest of your day.